Salutations, kindred souls. Welcome back to another episode of Lux Martin Enlightenment. I'm Lux, and here on this channel we talk about all things enlightenment. Not the kind that floats above life, but the kind you find right here in the middle of it. Today, I am so passionate about talking about this concept that is more needed than ever in today's society. We are going to talk about the double-sided coin of truth and being a great truth deliverer as well as truth receiver. Speaking and hearing truth with grace, love, dignity, and authority is more important than ever today. Truth is not meant to be a weapon, but it can still cut, and it's how we handle it on both sides of that stick that matters. In today's climate, there are so many people out there in the population bucket of this is my truth and I need you to hear this and I need to say this loud and proud and boldly. And that's all well and good, but it can be softened. It can be delivered as beautifully and lovingly and kindly as possible. There's also a bucket of population out there that is wildly and overreactingly triggered by all of the truth flying at them. And to me, that makes a lot more mess than it does connection and trust and relationship. So when you're a piss poor truth deliverer, you're not getting what you want because people are not able to understand what your message is. And when you are a triggered truth receiver, you are not hearing the messages other people are trying to convey to you, good, bad, or ugly, and then you can't do anything well with the information. And so to me, one of the most important tools we can work on the healing journey is being a great truth deliverer and great truth receiver. And so I'm just so on fire about this topic. So we're going to discuss first the whole side of the coin of speaking your truth gracefully. This matters because truth builds intimacy, trust, and respect for both yourself and others. Being able to communicate your truth, whether that's who you are, how you feel about something you're struggling with, being able to deliver it gracefully is good for you. It's good for you to feel at peace knowing that you've delivered something as eloquently and lovingly and authentically as possible. When you do this, you believe in your own self-worth and you trust in yourself to do right by you, to be there for you. Yeah? As well as when you foundationally operate from a place of, this is my truth, this is how cleanly and kindly and clearly I'm going to deliver it. People trust you because they know that what they see is what they get. They don't have to necessarily be aware of or brace themselves for the thrashing about of your truth. And that's really important for both yourself and others, is that trust building. The caveat to that is the suppression of truth is absolutely degrading to both yourself and relationships. I can speak personally to that, in which case when I started hiding my truth and speaking less about what I needed, what I felt, how I thought what I feel I am to my partner, in connection with my partner, trust completely dissolved. I built so much resentment, not only to him, but for myself, I feel so stifled and suffocated that I cannot be me, and I will be punished in the expression of my truths, that there was just an enormous disconnect in the relationship and both my self-sovereignty and self-worth, and both of those took work to identify and then become aware of and then reestablish. So do yourself a favor, please, and don't let the stifling of your truth or the delivering it poorly or not even at all, just suppression, don't let it kill your relationships. And don't let it kill your own self-sovereignty and dignity and trust in the fact that you are worthy and you have your back. Moving on. Utilizing the grace factor in delivering your truth starts with developing the emotional and communication skills to do so well. It is not a spiritual thing to do communication of your truth well. Something as very simple and basic as using I statements when delivering a truth And eliminating statements like you always and you never when delivering a truth are basic communication concepts that anyone could do to improve communication and relationship, regardless of how spiritual you are. There are many, many free resources out there online. YouTube has hundreds and hundreds of them that I listen to, a lot of them on just literally communicating better as a human, preventing what comes out of your mouth from causing more harm than good. So I would encourage you to equip yourself with the emotional maturity as well as the communication tools to understand what does and does not help expression of your truth. Yeah? And the third part of this whole speaking truth is understanding that riding the wave of emotion is extremely impactful in the delivery of your truth. Delivering truth that is steered 100% by emotion will very often be delivered poorly. I personally, it is a hard rule to myself. If I'm feeling very triggered or emotional or poignant about something, I allow myself no less than 12 to 24 hours to process before I communicate about it, because it is 100% guaranteed that I will feel differently from hour 1 to hour 8 to hour 12 to hour 24. 100% fact has happened so many times in my life that it's just a baseline expectancy of me now. And I always deliver my truth better when I have let that wave of emotion pass. When you give yourself the time to decide what energetic space, emotional space you want to deliver truth from, you're in control. You're in the best optimal place of deciding how you deliver the truth, because you've given yourself the time to decide the emotional and energetic stance from which you want to deliver it. And oftentimes waiting to see what has passed and giving yourself time to siphon out what is emotion and what is truth and what is thought and what is logic allows you to deliver more clearly. And the last part of delivering truth is timing. And this also has a bit of a part A and B in the fact that riding that emotional wave often requires time. Sometimes when you are really triggered about something right freaking meow and you want to say something, it is often the worst time to say something. And so, yeah, it sucks to have to allow some time to pass because you feel like you want to resolve it or speak it right now. Understanding that that's just not often the best case scenario in human dynamics and communication tactics. Yeah, so riding the wave of emotion takes time. Allowing yourself the time to decide if you have enough clarity on your truth will often give you the best chances of delivering it well as understanding the timing of the person you're delivering the truth to. I'm not saying that you should walk on eggshells or always wait until it's a good time for someone to hear you speak your truth. But I am saying that being considerate or aware of the timing of which you deliver a truth to someone else matters. Because if you want them to have the best chance of receiving your truth as clearly as you are trying to deliver it, timing the conversation, timing the truth delivery in the most optimal place and time for someone else to receive it matters. So that was that whole side of the coin of all the ways that you can deliver truth authentically, clearly, but gracefully and lovingly. And I think these are all really beautiful tools that take some time and practice to develop, but arm yourself with a type of energetic stance, a type of moxie, but beauty and softness that helps you deliver truth in a way that people respond beautifully to. So I encourage you to work on this because, yes, it will take time and practice, but man, can you become a force to be reckoned with when you are a great truth deliverer. And in observing the other side of that coin, it is equally important to be able to receive others' truth as clearly as possible, because we all want this in relationship. We all want to be heard. So try to be a good hearer. When you can listen without immediate defense, it allows you the opportunity to hear the heart of what's actually being said. When you listen to understand rather than to respond, you allow the opportunity for relationship to deepen because you aren't just trying to protect yourself, you are trying to deepen a connection with someone by hearing their truth in a way that allows them to be lovingly heard. Reaction often clouds understanding and escalates conflict. We can't help that our reality may be different than theirs or our truth may be different than theirs. However, we can take our glasses of perception off for a minute in the opportunity to more clearly receive someone's truth. So it's important to distinguish that the opportunity lies in taking your lenses off for a minute and allowing the possibility to receive as clearly as possible, knowing that a response may come up, but it is not the driving factor of how well you receive. And in this opportunity, I feel one of the major tools in being a great receiver is the inner pause. So practically, we all have a fair understanding of what it is to be a good listener. Closing your mouth, letting a person speak fully and clearly without interrupting. Basic communication tools, or nodding, or agreeing, at least in understanding that you're still engaged in listening. That doesn't change the fact that things are going to come up for you. When someone is saying something that may be hard for you to hear because it's pointing something out about you, or they're delivering it not so gracefully, or it's a very sensitive topic, all you need to do is pause long enough for you to be aware of the fact that something's coming up inside of you, but not allowing it to hijack the conversation by using it as a reason to respond or lash out. A good practical example of that is I'm a crier. When someone is saying something to me that is painful or hard to hear or triggering, angering me, I cry. My face scrunches up. It's hard. Everybody can see what's going on inside of me on my face. That's just the way my human is designed. I can let those tears fall quietly without letting it interrupt someone's truth. I can notice that this is hurting me. This is bringing things up in me. And then I can let it stay here for a minute so that they can finish speaking, knowing that it's there, but I'm still listening. I'm still engaged in receiving their truth. This brings me to this whole crying and your face thing and lack of lashing out is the other main tool to being a great receiver is understanding the separation of message from emotion on both your part and the deliverer's part. So in examining yourself first, being able to separate the emotions that are coming up in you upon hearing someone else's truth, it gives you the power to see that their truth is a perspective and a message they are trying to deliver. It is not a hard verdict on your worth. It is not something that is necessarily resonating with your truth, but it's a message you're trying to receive. And in the separation of your emotions versus the message they are trying to deliver, then following up with curiosity rather than judgment is the potent, powerful tool to crack open the vulnerability and container of safety that can exist in great truth delivery and reception. So when you can say, can you explain that to me a little more? Or can you elaborate on this a little more? Instead of these basic crappy phrases that I also encourage you to take out of your vocabulary, like just saying, that's not true, or I can't believe you said that, or that's such garbage, you're making me so mad right now. Regardless of if you're spiritual or healing or not, eliminating those phrases from your conversation tactics is just a straight up good idea for literally doing human communication less crappily. So, again, the separation of your emotions allows you to hear the message and then get more curiosity in order to get them to deliver it as clearly as possible and not letting your emotions block the message or deny their truth. In practical tools, this is a hard thing to do, being able to hear someone's truth. Oh, that was the other thing I forgot to express with the emotion is we've taken accountability for our emotions. You also have to accept the fact that someone else's truth may be emotionally charged. They may be a great truth deliverer, or they may be thrashing it all over the place. You may just be the person they flew off on the handle about because they can't take it anymore. In being a great truth receiver, this is one of the most powerful and loving things you can do as a human being, is to hold space for both yourself and someone else in their truth delivery, regardless of how well or how terribly they are delivering it. Let me tell you, that is an incredibly demanding skill to have. It's tough. It is not something many people, at least in my vicinity, do well. But man alive, is it a tool that if we could all work on a little more, the impact it would have on the world. I can't even fathom how well things would go. So, in embracing and accepting the fact that you can hold space and separate both your emotion and their emotion from the message they are trying to deliver, you become one of the most kindest, loving individuals you can be for that person, and allowing them to attempt to deliver that message to you, and you doing your damnedest to receive it as clearly as possible. That is really hard to do. And in doing so, in protecting yourself in that really hard moment, the key is to stay present with them, to stay there with them and receive them in that moment without abandoning yourself. So that means literal physical and mental grounding, taking deep breaths, having hard conversations with drinks or snacks to like ground your body in yourself, feet on the floor, noticing the chair or the couch you're sitting on, giving, if it's absolutely escalating, taking a 30-second break to walk out of the room and give yourself a little, I'm safe, I can hear this fully, my human is okay, this is just hard to hear, but I'm here hearing it. Those are little, grounding is to me is the most practical tool you can give yourself in this powerful, powerful moment in which you are being present with someone to let them deliver their truth and you hearing the message as clearly as possible. So, we've examined both sides of this coin of truth. In conclusion, in closing, reflection, and balancing of these two, the way we hear truth affects how safe other people feel to speak it. The way we speak truth affects how openly others can receive it. This is a very mutually balancing dance of speaking and receiving well on both people's part is massively helpful, healing, and deepening of relationships. And it takes both parts for things to develop. If one person is a great truth speaker, but another person is a terrible truth receiver, there's still going to be tension and disconnection. And so it's in the balancing and attempting to be both of those where relationships start to take a really great developmental turn. You have a responsibility for how you speak, and you have a responsibility for how you receive. All you can do is take responsibility for that. It is obvious that you cannot have responsibility for the way someone receives or delivers their truth. They get to thrash around in life however they want. So do you. But in taking responsibility for both of those things, not only are you going to navigate yourself more gracefully, but you're going to navigate relationships more gracefully, whether that means more distance or less, knowing that you're doing what's best for you and you know that you're doing the very best you can do. When you establish a new standard of expectation for truth delivery and reception in all of your relationships, every single one of them, your partner or spouse, your mom and dad, your family members, your boss, your classmates, your coworkers, when you establish, as uncomfortable as it may be, to start a new pattern of great truth delivery and reception in relationships, you are becoming a cycle breaker of what crappy communication and disconnection is going on in the world. I dare you to be the person that makes the wave of, this is how truth happens in my life from now on. I deliver truth gracefully, lovingly, and authentically, and I encourage everyone that I deliver it to hear it well with love and grace and dignity and authenticity. And if you will continue to do relationship like that with me, I see this going well and better all the time. I encourage you, I invite you to be that cycle breaker by being both a great truth deliverer and truth receiver. And lastly, I want to acknowledge that truth is a living, breathing exchange between all of us. It's not a one-time declaration. Speaking your truth is not just a one-time video or a one-time conversation and bam, it's done, it's resolved, it's clear. It's a continual dance between you and everyone you're in relationship of, this is my truth, can you receive it? You've given me a truth, how well have I received it? I invite you, my invitation to you this week is to find not just one person, but two people too, because sometimes you can't do this at the same time to one person, but find one person in your life this week where you can speak a truth with grace, authority, and clarity without stifling yourself or watering yourself down, practicing speaking that truth to someone who will likely receive it well. Delivery it for that person. How well can you deliver this truth to someone? Then find somebody else. It may just come along about your week where someone delivers a truth to you and you have the opportunity to respond better. You have the opportunity to hear their truth as clearly and lovingly as possible for the both of you and see what that does for your relationships. I think this was a really beautiful topic to discuss, and I would love to develop more content on it because this has been one of the most poignant healing things in my journey, especially as of late, as to living in alignment and balance of the duality of hearing and receiving truth, of both strength and softness, because delivering and hearing truth well requires strength, and it also requires softness and receptivity, and that is what my channel is all about. So thank you for letting me so passionately deliver on the topic of truth, hearing it and receiving it well, and how being able to do both of those well will change your life and others around you. Keep seeking, keep softening, keep showing up. Remember, the light you're looking for is the light you already are. Take care.